All right, I am back. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Um, this will be the last show for the year, so this is the end of my third year of doing this, and you may think, "Wow, he really sucks at doing this for having done it for 3 years," but um, it's been fun, crappy or not. So here we go. Leftists on the Grand Haven Board of Light and Power discovered that electric cars use power to charge. That's right. Now, this revelation should be obvious to most people, but we need to help our green friends when they don't understand fossil fuels, as they often don't. Other problems with the destruction of the Grand Haven power plant are starting to manifest too. They are talking about a 30%, 33, that's three threes, two threes, two threes, 33% increase for energy in Grand Haven. Yikes. In other news, colleges are finally starting to comment on Republican beliefs. Oh my goodness. I thought this day would never come. I really I was so concerned about what colleges thought about what Republicans believe. And now it's here, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're also relieved to have the experts expressing to us the things that they think Republicans believe. And finally, an update on what my plan is for the next year for the show, and a look at how schools put teachers before the students. It's a common occurrence. We have just one more example of it. I'm Anon Don. This is the Homes Politicast. All right, cool. My video capture display isn't working the way I want it to. That is fun. All right, there we go. I fixed it. So here we are. It's been a while since I did a show. We had some finals, which I passed all of them, passed all my classes. So I am one step closer to becoming a radical right wing conservative teacher in the public school system. Um, so that was fun. Then we had a bunch of Christmas shopping to do, a bunch of Christmas preparations, and I just could not find time to get in front of my computer. So there was also a lot of nothing, a lot of big nothings happening. Um, Over the time that I was gone. No real groundbreaking bills happening. No real political upheavals. So things were pretty quiet. I took a couple days, a couple weeks off, and I'll probably be taking next week off too. I think I'll start the second week of 2023 back up with the show. But first, I want to give you a little taste of what you can expect coming up in the new year. Number one, talking to the county commissioners, the new ones that are coming in. I've talked with a couple of them. I've talked with them off the show, and so now it's time to get them on the show, get them in public, in the public view and on record as to what exactly they plan on doing, how exactly they plan on handling the opposition coming at them, and what we can expect from them in the next couple of years as they take over. So that'll be a big priority. Another big priority is talking to the uh, school board members that have been implemented or that have been voted in Allendale and uh, other places, Hudsonville, uh, Granville, the conservatives won in Granville. So we're going to be looking at all those. Coopersville, I think Coopersville was another one where a couple conservatives got voted in. So I'd like to talk with them, see, how they plan to maneuver politically in the school systems and get a change that is desperately needed. We'll be seeing one thing that I'm going to bring up to them is why teachers are so well protected? Why are they just like we can't find information on a teacher that is on administrative leave, which we'll be talking about a little bit, or we'll be talking about in a little bit, but that's just got to change. We cannot continue to have schools that say, no, teachers first, students second. If there is a discrepancy, we always go with the teacher. It's just not how it's gonna continue. And there are some people that gloat, oh, the parent first candidates all lost across the state. Well, not in West Michigan, they didn't. And the parent first candidates, just the very idea of saying the parents first candidates lost is so nearsighted and ridiculous. So you're telling me that the voters are saying parents do not want to control their child's education. No, that's not what happened. We know what happened. The media manipulated and twisted the narrative around. They didn't really say what the parents' first candidates were standing for. They called them radical book banners and extremists and Nazis and stochastic terrorists at some points. So I'm going to be talking to some of the new school board members about how we change the schools from teachers first and teachers ruling from on high to putting parents in charge of their children's education and holding teachers to account for what they're teaching and for what they're doing. So, I think before we get into what is going on with the teachers uh, in Holland, I think I want to get into this. So the Board of Light and Power had a meeting on December 15th, and one of the board members who I know actually quite well, I've helped her move stuff in her house. She's been involved in my family quite a bit, and her views on just about everything have changed in just the past few years. She used to be somewhat conservative and very much would have voted Republican. Now she seems to be running straight to the left and is on the Board of Light and Power, is one of the activists on the Board of Light and Power, trying to make big changes in Grand Haven. The only problem is she doesn't quite know anything about electricity, about how a board of light and power would run. Now, granted, she is a little green, and by that I mean new to the position, but one would think that she would know at least what a kilowatt hour is. So here's her asking about how we go about measuring energy in Grand Haven.
That system operations is now on the distribution side because we don't have a power plant, but our old system operations used to be at the power plant. So the red bar, the orange bar.
You'll see that it cuts out
and
as
then
soon as
that
she asks her question, but we know what
greenish color bar. That's our debt service on the plant. So the purple bar is the cash generated by our operations that we could use to set aside for new capital projects. This was our position in 2000.
Okay, what are we looking at? I mean, I'm looking at the y-axis is $140. I'm misunderstanding.
Okay, so this is the cost per megawatt hour. All right. So
like a lot of utilities, that metric, is that like a
cost per megawatt hour? Cost per megawatt hour, is that what you're saying? Well, it's the cost of product. I mean, if you were a manufacturing facility, this would be your cost of product, all right? So what I've done is average.
So I'm kind of wondering what she means by do a lot of utilities use that measurement, kilowatt hour. Nope, no, Andrea, that's just one. That's just energy. Your water does not use kilowatt hours. Your sewage does not use kilowatt hours. Your garbage utility does not use kilowatt hours. That's just one. It's a weird question, and maybe she just is trying to get the feel of what's going on with the Board of Light and Power, and we'll give her that benefit of the doubt. But maybe figure out exactly what you're talking about here a little quicker. So, not only does she not know what a kilowatt hour is, but she says something really strange here in this next clip uh, about cars powering things. That's what? What? Like, I don't actually know how to respond to this one, and it's kind of funny. Let's listen to a member of the Board of Light and Power saying that cars power things.
For each season. Why is that?
Can I finish my question?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so ours is 70, right? So 70,
Okay,
let's just,
yeah.
I'm trying to dumb it down
Yeah,
and simplify.
yeah, that's fine.
Right now, we spend $2.5 million to buy this capacity of about 70
Mhm.
kilowatt or megawatts. So if we have cars that are now powering things, then eventually
What? What did she just say? If we have cars that are now powering things, I'm not sure quite where she got this idea. Let's listen a little bit longer and see if maybe becomes a little more clear.
just like we're seeing with some of the efficiencies that utilities are that industrial users aren't using as much power and the city's not using as much power because we've got LED lights and we've decreased the city's use by 24%. So eventually that 70 number, if played correctly, is going to go down and we don't necessarily need to account for capacity in the behind the meter.
So, nope. She really just thinks that having electric cars will bring down the demand of electricity. That is what she's saying right there. Now, being on the Board of Light and Power, you should probably know that electric cars don't create electricity, they use it. So, good night. I can't even. We're just going to listen to the rest of the clip. She has explained to her that electric cars will actually tax the electric grid more. In just 1 second, let's listen.
Sales.
My point of the matter is that that's not my decision to make.
Well,
If they actually reduce their load, I don't have any money to give them, right? I don't have any money, and all I need to do is, yes, that will,
Dave,
and that's be right.
Dave.
Yeah, let's keep.
Dave reads all these articles on emerging technologies all the time.
I mean, we're looking at it.
Let's task him. I mean,
So do I.
let's task him with, and you're welcome to come in and meet with Dave and talk about emerging technologies.
And
obviously, there's an interest. Obviously, there's an interest on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might help. And if it doesn't, it won't be long.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just implemented a program called Grid Analytics. And I mean, when I say just, I mean like within the last
Man,
30
goodness.
days. So you went from AMI, which you've never had, right? You just went out and you took a meter reading once a month. Now you got AMI, you're managing that data. You tie in Grid Analytics, which is taking your inventory, your GIS system, and integrating it with your automatic meter reading. And so when we're talking about capacity, like say potential reduction for batteries from EVs, what we're seeing with Grid Analytics, and keep in mind, we never had this before, is EVs actually aren't decreasing demand, they are exploding demand. So,
well, you don't say. You don't say, sir. I'm so glad we have experts in the government to tell us that EVs do not lower the demand for electricity, they explode it. Now, as I said in the opening, anyone with even a partially functioning view of the world can figure out that power plants use coal. Coal is fossil fuel. Fossil fuels are charging EVs. Now, our Green Board member doesn't know that. Our Green Board member hasn't thought that far down the line. She doesn't even understand kilowatt hours. She thinks that electric cars will be powering things. Now, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think that she means that electric cars will be shooting energy back into the grid. I think what she thought is electric vehicles are sustainable and renewable because that's how they're marketed, and so they will not be a drain on our electric grid. How she could not think that through enough to understand that electric cars do require electricity to charge them is quite beyond me. There was some sort of thoughtlessness here that led to the statements that she had, but here it is. Our electric uh, our electric demand will be exploding with EVs. Again, you're listening to this show, you probably knew that before Mr. Expert from Grand Haven Board of Light and Power came on and told us that the demand would go up. You've probably thought it through at least once or twice and come to the conclusion that EVs aren't really all that much greener. They still use fossil fuels, and they're just going to transfer the burden of our energy from gasoline and oil to coal, right? And it may not be a one-to-one comparison. We may be burning more coal than we were using oil and gasoline. Okay, so he actually tells us how much more an EV uses on a house. It's kind of staggering. Listen to this.
A residential home might run somewhere between 5 to 8 kW, and we're seeing homes with EVs, they're jumping in a peak from 8 kW of normal home to 16 with one car to 22 with two cars. So
It's going one way right now. That's the point I'm making. Is
right, but
we're
you'll have
jumping
to charge it, right? So your demand's gonna go up when you charge it. There's no way around it.
It's not any different than another battery. It's a huge battery save. So anyway.
Right, but I'm just saying you
So from 8 kilowatts to 16, that's double. Think of your energy bill, right? I paid, I think, $96 for my electricity last month. And I've got a little 3-bedroom manufactured home. Double that. So 96, say I got an EV, and I probably fill up twice a week at $30. Okay, so I'd be saving a little bit of money. I would be saving a little bit of money. I wouldn't be spending as much on gas. But again, the power grid is taxed twice as much from just my home. And there's no way with this thing that I'd be able to charge an EV. I don't have the electrical capabilities. I don't have I don't have enough energy running to my home to charge an EV. So an EV for me is out, right? I can't do it. Now there is a system in place, or a system being put in place by the Michigan government to actually have homes that are battery operated, to where we can charge those batteries when electricity prices are low, and then we can draw on those for the grid as a whole when electricity prices are high. This may counterbalance a little bit of what's going on here, but the Board of Light and Power isn't doing that. That's an individual person that is running a startup that had this idea. All right, brilliant idea too. And I'd love to get him on the show and talk to him about it a little bit, which I may do at some point. But the ideas here that the Board of Light and Power have are kind of unrealistic. So there's that. That's Grand Haven. That's your Board of Light and Power. Trying to figure out that when you put electric vehicles in a home, that the price of electricity will go up. Very interesting. All right, so we're going to move on. This was going to be a shorter show, but of course I ramble like a loon. So we were talking a little bit about how schools are going to protect teachers over students. And we have here, shoot, I don't know if I have it. Let's see if I can get it pulled up. Because what I have is do 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 do. Okay, I can't find it. Holland Public Schools basically sent out information on what's going on with their orchestra director. He is on administrative leave for, well, who knows? They just said he's on administrative leave. Actually, I should pull up the thing and make sure that just have it, up and so that you can see it. I'll post it on Twitter. I can't find it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to post it on Twitter. So it'll be up on Twitter pretty soon. Actually, I might have it on Twitter. I do not. Unfortunate. Okay, so it'll be up on Twitter soon. But what I'm looking at is this orchestra director was put on administrative leave. So I quickly went into jumped into action to try and figure out exactly what's going on here. Because I had from one of the parents there in Spring Lake I know where it is. I know where it is, and I can find it now. I forgot it's in Messenger. So I had from one of the parents the flyer, and they said that their kids are talking about the fact that this teacher, let's see, so the teacher was put on administrative leave for inappropriate conduct with students. We're not exactly sure what the nature of this inappropriate conduct is, but again, I jumped into action talking to Miss Katie Pennington of Holland Public High School or Holland Public Schools. I asked for anything related to Mr. Reichow's leave of absence and the conduct he engaged in that initiated the leave of absence. I would like any notes about what students have claimed about him. Student names can be redacted. So anything related to Mr. Reichow's leave of absence and the conduct he engaged in that initiated that leave of absence and student accusations here. So to find out what exactly Mr. Reichow was doing, the cost is going to be $1,794.60. They're looking at maybe 100 sheets of paper. And where the big chunk of that change comes from is let's see, separate exempt from non-exempt materials. They didn't put a subtotal cost there. So yeah, it was for employee labor costs to separate exempt from non-exempt materials is where they're taking that from. Oh, the total estimated was $1,869 and 90 cents, not $1,794. That's just for them the 1,794 is just for them to go through and redact everything. So, number one, my first observation, and the parent that I was talking to, their first observation was they've got 100 sheets of paper on why this guy is gone, on why he's on administrative leave. That's a lot of paper. And again, my request was for anything related to Mr. Reichow's leave of absence and the conduct he engaged in that initiated the leave of absence. 100 sheets of paper on that? Good night. Now, I think the school is being intentionally unhelpful because this is ridiculous. I have redacted or reduced the scope of the inquiry to just student complaints against him. So hopefully by the 17th of January, 20 days from now, 21 days from now, we will have at least the student accusations from him. And we'll see what students are saying happened with Mr. Reichow. But until then, the FOIA request was originally made on, let's see, December 15th. So December 15th to January 27th. No, January 17th. Yeah, January 17th. Today's the 27th. So that's almost a month. There's supposed to be 5 days. I realize there's a holiday in there, which is fine. But I wonder why the FOIA coordinator is being so unhelpful. Like, she knows what I want. And yet, she's not really helping direct me there. She's not saying, oh, hey, we can do this for you, and this would be, only, you know, $50, $60. She's not saying we can give you just communication from the principal or from the superintendent to Mr. Reichow. No, she's just like, okay, I'm going to take literally word for word exactly what you said, and we're going to go with that, and I'll charge you $2,000 for it. That's the problem. And that's the problem with all our public schools. They're not helpful in finding out what's going on with a teacher. They're much more helpful in protecting the teacher, making stuff as hard to get as possible and very expensive. I don't know how many of you parents of Holland High School students can afford $2,000 for information on what your orchestra director has been doing with students to put them on administrative leave. But I sure can't afford that. So weird stuff from Holland High School. I'll have more for you at the beginning of next year. So that's one thing that I'm going to be working on. And last but certainly not least, colleges are finally talking about right-wing conspiracy theories. My goodness, why did it take them so long? So, PLS 297, Conspiracy Theories and Fake News in U.S. Politics. Why do people believe in political conspiracy theories like Obama birthism, 9/11 truth, QAnon, and the fake, what does that say? It's kind of blurry. The fake moon landing. What is fake news, and how do we understand the role of the, what does that say? Something politics. How does social media accelerate the development? Oh, how does social media accelerate these developments in American politics? So this is a course going to be conducted by, let's see, who is the professor? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Scott Ledeur. So I don't know anything about Scott Ledeur, but we're going to be talking to him about his theories here. It looks like this guy, Nick Rudy, says that, oh, he's in the media. So obviously he's super reliable. He says that Mr. Scott Ledoux was very fair. Ledeur was very fair, very balanced, that he bet left, but he's fair 95% of the time, which in the college world is unheard of. Now the students will 100% drive the leftist narrative, but Scott plays the devil's advocate well. So maybe Nick is reliable. Let's see. North. Talk of the North with Nick Rudy. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe this college class will be worth it. Maybe it'll be super balanced and super fair, and I'm not going to hold my breath on that. So not much in the way of news there. I just thought that was super funny. So there's kind of the overview of what we're going to be talking about in the next year. And what I'm going to be doing immediately with reaching out to our newly elected politicians, our newly elected school board members, and some of the things that I'm going to be asking them about. I hope you're going to be joining me for the 2023 season, I guess. Yeah, the 2023 season of the Homes Politicast, where we're going to get very acquainted with a lot of our elected officials that are around here. We're going to have them talking about big ticket items. We're going to be having them talking about the Democrats running the state right now and exactly what's going to happen. We're going to be discovering more about electric cars as the Grand Haven Board of Light and Power learns more and more about light and power. And with that, I'm Adon Don. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you like what you're hearing, share it with a friend, share it on social media, share it everywhere you can. That is kind of my only source of perpetuation, my only, gosh, what is the word? Words are hard for me. I'm on vacation. I'm not thinking right now. That is my only, I don't know, just get the word out there. Share it with a friend. Share it on your social media page. I'm Adon Don. This is the Homes Politicast.